Hello and welcome to today's 10-minute hamstring express stretch class. So in just 10 minutes, we are going to loosen up those hamstrings for you. For props, all you need is your yoga mat. You'll need 2 yoga blocks and a yoga strap. All right, let's get started. Okay, so we're going to start with a nice wide-legged stance, so kind of wider than mat width apart. And we're just going to start by rolling all the way down and then rolling all the way up. So although this warms up the spine, it's definitely also going to get into the hamstrings, especially if you are particularly tight. If you're struggling to get all the way down to the ground, you're welcome to just have your yoga blocks with you, and you can just kind of rest your hands on top of your yoga blocks instead of trying to get them all the way down to the ground. So I've got a small micro bend in my knees, and that is just there to help me warm up the hamstrings so we don't have to go straight for a deep stretch as soon as we begin. All right, last one. Rolling up the spine, and head comes up last. And let's change it slightly by arching down. And when you get to the bottom, tuck the head and roll up, same as before. So with the arch down, I like to think about leading with my heart. My heart comes down to the floor first. Then I drop my head and roll up. So it really helps to have a nice deep bend in the knees, stick out the bottom, lead with the heart. Chin comes down and then roll up as normal. So from the side, you see how wide my feet are, wider than hip mat. And I roll up. So going fairly slowly here, but enough of a pace so that you are starting to just warm up a little bit. Good, you can keep that nice deep bend in the knees, especially as you get to the edge of your range that's comfortable for you. Good. And roll up. And then I want you to grab your yoga blocks, and you're just going to have them in front of you. You're still in your wide stance, and I want you to bend the legs, and we're just going to do cat and cow in this position. So I want you to inhale, arch, stick out the bum, look up, exhale, curl and look down. And again, inhale, arch and up, and curl. So although this is definitely getting into the spine, by doing this arch in this position with your legs a little bit bent, you are in fact stretching the backs of the hamstrings, and you should feel it slightly. If you're not, you might want to go down lower on your blocks. Perhaps you don't need them at all, in which case this is what it would look like. Arch the spine and curl. As your legs start to get warmer, you can feel for kind of stretching them out completely as you round your back. So in the arch part, you bend your legs, and in the curl part, you straighten them. But if this is still too much for you and you're still kind of warming up, then you're welcome to just keep those yoga blocks with you and kind of use them to just lift you up a little higher so you're not going too deep too soon. And let's come to a neutral spine. You can keep those legs bent, and I'm just going to ask you to walk it out. Walking it out, right and left, side to side. Let those hips swing sideways. And we're just going to kind of pick up the pace here so that you start to get warm and build up some heat in the body. And maybe you're ready to kind of take it lower on your yoga blocks, or maybe you don't need them at all. You can just drop the head, let it hang wherever it wants to. 4, 3, 2, and 1. Good. Okay, we're going to keep a nice wide stance, and we're going to go into kind of a half, what I like to call a half downward facing dog. So you can use your yoga blocks, you definitely can. And just like you would be in a downward dog in yoga, but just kind of make it smaller. So your hands and feet are much closer together, and you're still pushing the weight back into the heels. You can have a micro bend in those knees if it's still feeling really tight and tender in those hamstrings. And then from there, again, I want you to do your cat and cow. So arching the spine, and now that your weight is pushed back over the heels, you should really be feeling it in the hamstrings, especially at the top. And then curl the spine. See if you can straighten the legs. Keep pushing the weight into the heels, so it's not forward in our hands. We're really pushing away so that the weight comes into the heels. And then arch the spine. You're welcome to bend the knees. and then curl. And arch. And curl. And arch, good. And curl. And now let's see if we can take a nice deep half downward dog, so keeping the legs as straight as you can. And I want you to almost, if you're not using your yoga blocks, you're templing your fingertips and you're really kind of pushing back so that your hands are far away from you. Weight is pushed back into the heels. And you're just holding it there. Maybe you start to walk those fingertips a little bit far forward. So you're somewhere between a down dog and a forward fold. Good, and then just grab your blocks again. And we're just gonna come into a nice deep crouch, as deep as you can go. I kind of want shoulders on the inside of the knees if you can manage it. And then straighten up. And again, crouch down nice and low and straighten up. If this is just not working for you, you crouch down to wherever you can using your yoga blocks and straighten to wherever you get to. If the legs aren't 100% straight, it's absolutely fine. That's what it's all about here today. Good. 2 more. And 1 more. All right, and then just moving those yoga blocks out the way. We're going to clasp opposite elbows, bend in the knees, and just a gentle sway. Side to side. Good. Good. And then just coming down onto all fours on your yoga mat. We're just going to move into some lunges. So if you are really tight, have your yoga blocks nearby and have your strap nearby. Okay, so we're just going to come into a nice low lunge with the right foot forward, and we're just going to alternate between hinging back and flexing the front foot and back into your low lunge. So you can have your yoga blocks with you if that feels better for you. Good. And yes, the pace is a little brisk because we are doing an express stretch here, and we also want to warm up our bodies. Good. 3, 2, 1. And now hold it there. So whether you're using blocks or not, I want you to keep a micro bend in your front knee. Inhale and exhale, push your heel down into the earth using about 20% effort. Inhale, release, and see if you can bring your body slightly lower. And exhale, push down. Gentle effort. You don't want to kill yourself. You don't want to get any cramps in the hamstring. And inhale, release. See if you can lengthen your spine. And exhale, push down. Inhale, release. And last one, push down. Good. And coming up, and we're just going to bring our hands over to the side, so over our leg that's in front, to kind of get into the ITB a little bit. Stretching it out there. You can be up on your yoga blocks if this is just too much for you. But you're just walking your blocks over to the side, over that leg. And cat and cow, so rounding the spine and then arching the spine. And as you arch, you'll feel that it intensifies the stretch in the hamstring. So just play around with the heights of your yoga blocks as you're getting more advanced or as you're just warming up. Round and arch and round and arch, and then gently coming to change legs into the other side. Good, so we're just pushing back, flexing the front foot, and then forward back into our lunge. That's it. Keep that pace up, warming up the body, warming up those hamstrings. 4, 3, 2, 1. Good, and just hold it there at the back. Micro bend in the front leg. Inhale and exhale, push down. Gentle pressure of the heel down into the earth. Inhale, relax, and see if you can bring your body lower. Exhale, push down. Micro bend in the front knee. Inhale, relax, and see if you can straighten out your spine. Exhale, push down. Remember, just use about 20% effort here. Nice and easy. Inhale, release, and exhale, push down. Good, and then maybe using your yoga blocks or not this time, walking over to the side, stretching out that ITB, flex this front foot nice and strong for me, push the hands into the mat, and let's do our cat and cow spine. So rounding the spine, and then arching. Feel that intensity in the hamstring as you arch in this position. Rounding the spine, and arch, and rounding, and arching. Last time, round and arch. Really, really good. And just coming back around into your all fours shape. And we're going to sit on the ground in a half straddle. So you might need your yoga mat for this one. And we're just going to take one leg out to the side. And I want you to turn your shoulders to face that leg. And I want you to walk yourself towards that foot. Now, if you can't grab the foot with your hands, then you're just going to use your yoga strap and just place it around the ball of your foot. And you're just going to pull yourself as far forward as what you can manage. Feel for pressing this other knee into the mat so that it doesn't lift up. So even if this angle between legs is quite small, it's about 90 degrees. Good, and just pulling forward with your strap. That's it. And again, in this position, cat and cow. Rounding the spine and arching. Arching is more like a lengthening in this position. And rounding the spine and arching. If you do need to have a micro bend in this leg, it's fine. All the time you're just working on straightening that knee as much as you can, but just make sure to go at your own pace. Rounding the spine and arching and rounding and arching. And last one. Good, and then we're just going to go for a side bend here. So I'm taking my opposite arm to my leg and I'm reaching over into a side bend. Maybe you can grab your opposite foot, and if you can kind of try and spiral your top shoulder up towards the ceiling. And if you can't, you just hold it wherever you can manage, or you can even just grab onto your strap and revolve yourself up, making sure to keep pressing the opposite knee down into the mat. Good, and then let's just change the side bend to the other side, dropping onto the elbow and side bend the other way. Keep that foot flexed. Good. And let's change sides, so have that yoga strap nearby. Just changing the straddle and twisting your shoulders to face your front foot. Nice flex in that foot and coming forward to wherever you get to. If you can't grab your foot with your own hands, just using a yoga strap to help you pull closer. Let's do those cat and cow spines. Exhale, arch, round, and inhale, arch. Good. This also gives you a nice bit of body awareness into what your spine is doing while you're doing stretches that are focused on other areas of your body, because the spine is really kind of the heart and soul of your whole body. So you should have an awareness of what it's doing in any and every stretch. Good. Coming as deep as you can get. One more, just like this. Good, and let's go for that side bend. So opposite arm, pressing this knee down into the mat and reaching up and overhead. Maybe you grab the toe. If you used a strap last time, then use a strap this time, and just twisting your shoulders up to the ceiling. Hold it there, or even if you're just kind of hovering in space, flex that foot, drop the opposite knee down into the earth, and let's change over, elbow down. Good. Side bend other way, flex the opposite foot nice and strong. And coming up to face at the top of your mat, have your yoga strap with you. We're just going to be doing some forward folds. So I want you to see if you can grab the tops of your feet. And again, if not, you'll just be using your strap. And again, we're just kind of going to play with cat and cow spine. So rounding and arching the spine, trying to keep our knees as straight as possible and really flex the feet. Use your breath to help you. And each time you go forward, see if you can stay there instead of coming all the way back up. So keep coming down closer towards your knees. and just honor where you're at today in your body. Good. Get lower and lower. 3 more. 2. And last one. Good. You can take the strap into your left hand, and I just want you to revolve up to the right side. You can also just hold opposite foot if you're flexible enough to reach it. You could also just lift your elbow up to get that revolving motion, that twisting motion, and changing sides, whether you grab the strap or your foot. And opposite elbow up to the ceiling, staying nice and low if you can. Release. And now time for your deepest forward fold. Hopefully those hamstrings are feeling nice and warm. So starting off with pointed feet, nice straight flat back, and let's just come forward as much as what we can using your strap. If you do have your strap, then your feet are flexed, pulling your heart down, leading with the heart towards the shins. So we're not rounding forward and trying to touch onto our knees. We're trying to keep our spine nice and long. Good. And let's just hold it for 2 deep breaths. Inhale and exhale. Inhale and exhale. And then let's just round forward and slowly roll up the spine, 1 vertebra at a time. Give those feet a little shake. Give those hamstrings a little rub. And that is it. I hope that you are feeling warm and released in those hamstrings, and I hope that you enjoyed this express stretch class. If you did, please make sure to hit like and subscribe to this channel. So I will see you in our next workout.